Hello and welcome to the Crypto Sky podcast. Today we have another amazing episode. I recently conducted an interview with the Wolf of Poloniex. If you're not familiar with the Wolf, he turned 6,500 US dollars into 2.8 million US dollars through trading crypto. He was such a cool dude, and I really enjoyed talking to him. I found myself listening to him speak more than preparing my next question just because of how interesting he was. We really dove deep into his personal life and how he went from being a millionaire and having a large following on Twitter and other social media to having his friends turn his back on him and lose a lot of his profits. We then covered more crypto-related topics, including margin trading and what he actually looks for when he is setting up a trade. I hope you guys really enjoy this episode, and please remember to share it with friends and family via social media. I would also like to apologize for the poor audio quality in the beginning and end of the interview. We had some connection issues. However, the main part of the interview sounds great, and I hope you guys will still be able to enjoy it. Without any farther ado, let's get into the interview. First of all, Wolf, I just want to say thank you for doing the interview and welcome you to the podcast.
What's up?
So to start things off, just talk a little bit about your background and then how you got into crypto.
You read the article, right? That I posted that's the construction rule. Basically, I first got involved into crypto or introduced into crypto back in the darknet days. I was a vendor on Silk Road, the original Silk Road.
Okay.
And my first Bitcoin that I got was like around like $44, but I didn't even know how to cash out. I just kind of ordered it. And then I finally cashed out when it was like $88. So I didn't make like too much like bank profit, but that was my first involvement and introduction into cryptocurrency.
All right. So how did you first get the name Wolf of Poloniex?
So back in the day, I didn't do Twitter or anything like that. I was just trolling and trading on Telegram channels like Ether Trader and I forgot some other ones. But I was my handle on there was Kingslayer. It was freaking Jamie Lannister from Game of Thrones. But I was I don't know. I just didn't see that it was very marketable and it wasn't that cool. So when I made a Twitter, I just changed my name to Wolf of Poloniex because I traded on Poloniex. Poloniex was the biggest exchange at the time for altcoins. So since I traded there, Wolf of Wall Street was pretty new. So I just ripped off of that.
Okay. So I read your article, you mentioned the birth and death and reconstruction of the Wolf on Medium. So talk a little bit about that article and then what motivated you to write it.
So the article basically just goes through a bunch of basically just like my whole like accounts of my first year of trading in cryptocurrency, day trading, not like investing or hodling. Even though I touched on that a little bit because that's how I first got into it. Well, not first got into it, but right before I started doing day trading. But I actually started writing that article when I found myself in a pretty bad position in life.
Okay.
In the article, it explains how I like made a bunch of money and then I lost a bunch of it, and I was like all depressed. It's just something that I've been battling for a long time. But I would actually like to thank Katmai, which is my business partner, for sort of helping me get out of the rut and do this challenge on my own, or do this to challenge myself. But he's the one that actually came up with the whole rags to riches challenge, just because I was losing confidence in my trading abilities.
Okay.
And if you lose confidence in trading, it's you lose your mojo. If you've ever heard of that phrase with trading, but if you lose your mojo, basically you could just get out of the markets. So I lost my mojo, and now I'm just trying to find it back. I was taking way too much time off on vacation, and it was definitely really toxic for me. And basically the article just I don't know. I just started writing, and I just kept on like pouring more and more into my. I actually deleted a large portion of the article too, just because it was just too much. But it was pretty therapeutic, I would say. And then getting back to work has also been pretty therapeutic. So it's all just like sort of my journey to get back on track and overcome my personal um, issues with depression and financial freedom, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. So you mentioned, you went through a period of time where you were homeless and, struggled to find a job. What was going through your mind during that time?
I was actually pretty happy.
Okay.
Considering that I just got out of jail, it wasn't too bad going around, being able to work out in a gym with air conditioning. 'Cause, my gym in jail didn't have that. But yeah, just living in like regular conditions was pretty decent at first, but then after a while, the depression did start kicking in once I started getting rejected everywhere, and then as I wrote in the article, it just felt like I couldn't live a regular life. Like I didn't want to go back to what I was doing because I got in trouble in the first place, um, and it just seemed like I was going to have to start doing that again, and I just really, really didn't want to do it. But I don't know, it's just kind of like a wake up call. You hear about that sort of stuff happen to like a lot of people. Like they get out of jail, they can't find a job, and you don't really think about it since you've never been through it. Or at least that's it never crossed my mind since I've never been through it. But I heard about it before. But it's a real fucking issue. Like it's completely unfair. Even if you're trying to do right, you can't get a job anywhere.
Yeah. So, after that period of... Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm just saying what goes off the top of my head. But yeah, it was good at the beginning, but it sucked, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you wouldn't like living in the car.
Yeah, that doesn't sound too fun. So after that period of time, you started your own e-commerce business, and then you kind of got into trading crypto. What was it like being so early in the crypto space?
I wouldn't consider myself very early. Consider like Charlie Shrimp, Andrew Bear, and a lot of other individuals early. I would consider myself early in this last year's bubble. I would consider myself early for that because right when I started investing, not really day trading, but investing, like I was like investing at like $200 or around there to $300, and then like after like a few months, I started trading when it was like $300 and something, like $360. So I got in at like the perfect fucking time for that parabolic trend. And that's also what kind of led me into like doing the challenge and reading or writing the article and sort of doing what I'm doing to try to get back on track, to prove to myself and others actually, but mostly to myself that, all the time that I spent doing all this research and learning, it wasn't just for nothing. It wasn't just luck,
Yeah.
Everyone says that like, everybody's a genius in a bull trend or in a bull market. Everyone can make wins. Everyone's a genius, and that's true. I just didn't think I would fall into that category. But when I was losing my mojo, when I was losing my confidence, I definitely felt like I was falling into that category. So this is sort of like prove to myself, the challenge at least, to prove to myself that, I don't fall in that category. All the time and effort that I spent and put in to learn everything that I've learned is real and it's legit and it does pay off at the end. And so long as I could, just prove that, like I don't care about being a billionaire anymore. I actually had those dreams, but I don't care about being a billionaire anymore. As long as I can just prove that, I can live financially stable, and be successful and do this full time without having to rely on anybody or anything, then I'm perfectly fine with that.
Yeah, okay. So what were some of the biggest mistakes you made when you first started trading?
Every mistake in the book. Biggest mistakes I made. One, don't fucking make a trade based off of other people's stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that right there cost me. I mean, I still make mistakes. I make mistakes every freaking day. Even today, I lost some Bitcoin because I made some mistakes, but it's just profit, so it's fine. But some of the biggest ones, I mean, like listening to other people, like due to listening to one person when I had my thoughts set on the fact, like, you know, I set my entry, I knew my target, I wasn't gonna touch it until it hit my target. It was like a short, it was a big position short, and I listened to, you know, one of my friends or whatever, well, friends at the time, I should say, and I exited my position, and then I ended up just like it just blew, you know, got me off my mojo, and I just started like making losses after I did that. But had I just fucking stuck to my guns and listened to my gut and done what I was originally planning to do, I would have made a 200 Bitcoin profit off of just that one fucking trade in like a week. But instead, I ended up like losing like 10 Bitcoin or something total. I think I like made it back like soon after, but still, it was just a huge pain in the ass. Yeah, don't listen to people. Don't fucking doubt yourself. If you do doubt, or you know, if you do make a mistake, simply figure out what you did wrong, learn, and then change it for the future. Always set stop losses, especially now with BitMEX, since it's always lagging out. You can't put fucking orders, even though I'm sitting here with an order right now with no stop loss. But always practice risk management. I mean, there's a lot of rules that you basically have to like learn to live by in order to become a good trader. But whenever you make a mistake, just make sure you learn from it. And that's probably the number one tip that I can give to everybody that's trying to learn how to trade.
Okay. So talk a little bit about what crypto Twitter was like when you kind of first started getting into it. Who were some of the big names? Who were some of the friends you made? You know, stuff like that.
Some of the big names. I don't even know how many big names. I mean, I always bring up the whole BitLord reference because that was like, I never did Twitter until I did crypto. I think that goes for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I think crypto actually revived Twitter. But yeah, like BitLord, he's like an OG, or at least his Twitter account's an OG for sure. And I'm pretty sure he's an OG too. But he had an account. He had like 3,000 followers, and that was like the most I've ever seen around in the scene with all the little crypto people. It wasn't a very big space. It was a very small community. But yeah, like 3,000 followers. Wow, dude, I want to get that much someday. You know, like I want to be fucking popular like that or whatever the hell. And then I ended up getting like 130,000 in like less than a year. But back in the days, back like a year ago, basically, like nobody gave a shit about being popular or, you know, being like this fucking top analyst or whatever the fuck. Like the whole crypto community space on Twitter was mostly just like sharing information and just like chit-chatting with each other and just bullshitting and like a little bit of trolling, not like it is right now. Like now everything's a fucking pissing contest where everyone's trying to get more followers than the other person, and then all the followers get to their head and they think that they're fucking like these big hot shots and like et cetera, and it's just the scene has gone so fucking fake and just like full of fucking bitches, really. But back then it was a lot more friendlier. Like it was all about just like sharing knowledge and all that. Now it's like, you know, fucking, and I'm gonna throw this out there because this guy wants to start drama. I'm gonna fucking throw it out there for him. Crypto medicated, throwing out that article.
Oh yeah.
Blasting people.
Yep.
Yeah, you know the article. Crypto medicated, throwing out that article, blasting people or whatever. I forgot, Crypto Bravado or whatever. Bitcoin Bravado, whatever the group is. I don't really know these people. I don't know Bravado or medicated. But throwing out this article, blasting them for, you know, market manipulation. First off, everybody fucking does it. I'm not backing Crypto Bravado and them by any means. I don't know them at all. And that's probably one of the most hardcore manipulation tactics that I've seen, even though I've seen that multiple times in the space. But that is definitely one of the most hardcore ones that I've seen leaked, that's for sure. And it was actually fucking very calculated. But anyways, he blasted them, and if you look through the fucking lines, if you look at the fine lining of the whole situation, he did that out of spite because they fucking like demoted his ass. Yep. Not because he's over here trying to be a fucking like, you know, Mr. White Knight or anything. he just got pissed off that they demoted him, and it's just sad to see that like all these people are throwing out drama everywhere. I mean, good for him that he actually like exposed these people, but it's sad to see that like there's just so much fucking useless drama in the space. You know, like if you want to, or just like high school bullshit. Like if you wanted to be a white knight, then you should have been a white knight straight from the get go, not like come out and said that you exposed them because of oh, at first you didn't want to do it because your friends told you not to, and blah 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 blah. Bullshit, bro. If you were still cool with them, you probably would have been doing the exact same thing as them. I'm sure he was probably involved in some other shit like that too. But it's like the whole space has just turned into this whole toxic high school playground, and that's kind of why I'm also not going back into Twitter, because Twitter, the whole Twitter background is just bad right now. I don't like the space at all. A lot of people are telling me to get back onto Twitter, and they would like to see me back on Twitter. And I may start another account, but I'm not going to be actually lurking around Twitter. I'm just going to be like posting stuff from like TradingView, and it'll automatically send a tweet onto my Twitter account or something. But other than that, I'm not going to post comments, links, quotes, whatever the hell. It's just not worth my mental state of mind right now. But yeah, right now Twitter sucks.
And the thing about the whole medicated situation, I followed him for a while, and a bunch of people kind of, came after him about his followers being fake. And then, a couple of days later, he tries to come back with all that and just kept going. I mean, it just got worse and worse. I eventually unfollowed him and just kind of disengaged from the whole situation. Just like you mentioned, that's just, I don't need all that drama.
Yeah, and that drama's everywhere, man. I mean, yeah. As far as followers being fake, I don't even know how people can tell if followers are fake. Like, I had a bunch of everyone said that my followers were all fake because my account came up with like 60% or whatever being real or some bullshit like that. But in reality, like, I had a fucking one of those like payment giveaway things or whatever just for trolling and fun and shits and giggles. Like, back when my account only had like 3,000 followers, and then I only boosted up to like 5,000 or 6,000 or some shit like that. And then green dildo on Bitcoin. And then after that, like, it went all the way up to 100K plus, and people always say, "Oh, you bought your followers." I mean, what does it matter if they're giving out content? Like, fuck the stupid ass sites that don't even work anyways. But anyway, Twitter's just bad, dude. It's just everyone's just fighting all the time for stupid shit, and it should all be about the content, not really about like got a bigger dick.
Yeah. So you mentioned, some of your group members, and then also people on Twitter kind of began to turn their back on you and show some hate towards you. What was that like?
Not good, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a slap in the face by reality. So like, I've never really been a popular guy, I guess you can say. I was a nerd growing up. I was always on World of Warcraft and shit. So in high school, I went to a nerd high school, and even in the nerd high school, I wasn't a very popular guy. I was just like the nerdy type. But when I started going into the crypto space, for some reason, I just started getting a big following. That could be because I did come from a marketing background, which I'm sure helped when I was posting on Twitter. And then I had some pretty good calls. But when my following just blew up, everyone was always like praising me and this and that, and I wasn't used to that at all. But it felt good. It feels good to feel like you're the fucking king of the mountain. Or like you get a lot of influence when you have a large following. You get quite a bit of influence. I don't think people really understand the amount of power that comes with that. You start meeting a lot of hedge fund people and a lot of business people, and a lot more doors open up for you. Let's say that. That's why I don't really care about my Twitter being locked right now, because I still have contact with a lot of individuals. But anyways, the power and all that stuff, it gets to your head, and it feels really good. You feel popular. Everyone's praising you, et cetera, et cetera. But as soon you're only doing that because you're making the money. As soon as you stop making the money, the supporter, the people that will continue to support you, they'll continue to support you, but they always stay silent. They don't really they usually don't continue praising you, especially during a point of like loss or whatever the case is, or a bad call or anything like that. Usually the ones that open up their mouth are the toxic, trollish people that as soon as you lose them, however much money, which it's not really your fault, it's their fucking fault. Take responsibility for your own trade, people. But anyways, as soon as like you stop making the money, you're instantly the devil. Um, you'll see some hateful ass shit thrown at you, just like Crypto Picasso had his fucking family threatened.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy. I would have fucking gotten a hacker on them personally. But yeah, like having your family threatened, having your life threatened, like just crazy shit. Like when I went to BlockCon in California, one of the reasons why I didn't want to like expose myself too much over there was because you get a lot of people that do throw death threats at you and actually do threaten you. And like even though you didn't do anything to them at all, like you didn't force their trades, you weren't having like one-to-one conversations with them. They just listened to your fucking post on Twitter, and you have no idea who they are or anything. You're just having these like random people behind the fucking screen target you and come after you. It doesn't feel good at all. You're forced to continue hiding behind an alias because of that. Because there are some crazy motherfuckers out there, especially when money's involved. But it definitely drove me back into my depressive state, where basically just snowballed out of control. Where my trade started going bad, my group started going bad, community, everything started going foul, and then I just sort of retired into my little cave to get my head on straight. But that didn't work out as well as I planned.
So, after some of your more difficult times, you mentioned you moved to Thailand. What was it like being in a foreign country and then not really knowing anyone?
Great. It's not the first time I've done that. I was stationed in Okinawa, Japan, for 2 years when I was in the Marine Corps. But I personally like the chaos of not having too much of a structured life, at least for a little while. Like when I first came out here, I was kind of like I wrote in the post, I was kind of like a zombie just going through the motions, because I knew I was still in a depressive state of mind. But I mean, when you're literally are just like in a hotel room, there's no kitchen, there's no food, there's no nothing. Like you're forced to actually walk out and eat. But the entire time I was working on crypto for like the majority of last year. Actually, for all of last year, because I came at like the end of December. But anyways, for all of last year, I, for the most part, stayed at home and ordered Uber Eats all the fucking time. OG Wolfpack members will tell you, me gonna go to open the door to get Uber to eat the same fucking food that I always ate, that I always ordered. But in Thailand, you can't do that. There's no Uber Eats, at least not in Pattaya. You're actually forced to go outside and like live. So that helped cure the depressive state of mind a little bit, my depression a little bit. And then it forced me to interact with other people and make some friends. And once all of that started to happen and go into place, life was pretty good. I mean, I definitely probably drank too much, like way too much. But it was nice having a normal life instead of just sitting in front of your computer for 20 hours a day.
So, now you've started a new chapter in your life. You've even set up a personal challenge, called the Rags to Riches Challenge. Kind of talk a little bit about that, and then also your revamped group.
So the Rags to Riches Challenge, like I said before, is just my personal challenge to see if everything that I've learned and that I've dedicated all this time and effort to, it's just, luck, basically. Due to getting into the bull rally too early, or so like on the perfect time, or if it's did I actually learn the skills that I spent so much time mastering, practicing. And I would like to think that it's the latter, and this is just basically a challenge to prove that. At first, I was gonna do it privately, and then it sort of fell into my mind. And after I was thinking Katmai as well, that why don't I first it was like, oh, why don't I record it or like post all of my charts and stuff on not the charts, my trades on like the group. And I was like, wait a second, why can't I just like stream this live on YouTube or something? That's how I sort of got into streaming and stuff. I'm streaming right now, actually. Hey guys. And yeah, it's just basically just a challenge to see if I can do it all over again. If I can go from rags to riches all over again. So I first started off with $6,500. At the time that I started the challenge, Bitcoin was at $7,000. So I'm basically started off with one Bitcoin, which is similar to what I had before when I first started off in terms of fiat value. And then my end goal is just to get 100 Bitcoin. Hopefully, by the time that ends, by the time the challenge ends, the 100 Bitcoin would be worth $1 million.
Okay. So you also mentioned in your article you're kind of beginning to rebuild your mind, body, and soul. What has that process been like? And then what are some specific things that you're doing to accomplish that?
So my soul and my body is basically my mind. I'm all over the place. My body, basically, I used to be a personal trainer, and in order to get out of medications like antidepressants, SSRIs, etc., I started doing a lot of physical training. I used to be pretty freaking ripped, especially when I was incarcerated, and that did help me completely wipe off any sort of medications. Right now, I'm not heavily using them. I use them only during emergencies, but I still rely on Xanax as an emergency, anti-anxiety pill for whenever I do have panic attacks.
Yeah.
Probably like once a week, like half a pill. I don't abuse them because those are probably one of the worst drugs you can use. But I'm trying to get off that. So basically, I'm just starting to go back to the gym. It's really hard, especially when you're working a lot. Now that I'm working a lot. But one of my goals is to try to do like a weekly update of my Rags to Riches challenge in a Medium article, and then as well include my entire week schedule or routine of what I did for workouts and or what I'm trying to accomplish for the workouts. So anybody out there that does want to follow me, does want to, maybe they're feeling depressed and they're out of the rut or they're out of shape and they're broke as shit, doesn't matter. Whatever your case may be, then they'll have, a Medium article to sort of give them a little push or some guidance as to what they should be doing in the gym. And then also, they can follow my trades on Twitch or on YouTube and sort of get the feeling of what I'm doing, either copy my trades or just like learn my methodologies, and then just do the same thing. As far as my soul, the whole thing that I'm trying to rebuild that on is basically the community. So I was having the most blast when I was chatting all the time, like waking up. As soon as I wake up, I would get on Telegram, start chatting with OG Illuminati, which was my first community that I made. OG Illuminati people, just like shooting the shit, having a ball, just joking, trolling, and basically just trading and passing out information for free. And then also Wolfpack, when we to Discord, we had a very lively audio room, and it was just, I remember going with my girlfriend to Atlanta, running away from the hurricane that hit Florida. But like the entire road trip there, we had the Wolfpack Discord on the freaking in the car. It was like a talk show. It was like a talk show host. It was pretty funny. But you could follow the trades, you follow markets, and at the same time listen to everyone's bullshit. And it was just always fun. It was like an addiction, and that like fed my soul. I felt like it was like, even though my friends were all online and didn't have like any like real life friends for the most part, it's used to get that companionship. So I just want to rebuild that again. Like just have that sort of base friendship, community going on again while I'm sitting here streaming, doing my challenges and stuff. It helps, it helps. Talking to people helps bring back that happiness in your life. My soul, getting that confidence back in the markets, to see if I got it in me to do it all over again with the Rags to Riches challenge. But it's basically it.
All right, so what's a day in the life of the Wolf like right now?
I check the charts. I go on my Discord and I eat breakfast and then talk to people while I boil eggs. I can't cook. Basically, right now I've gone back into workaholic mode, so I don't really do anything. I think today, since my neck was hurting for the past week of looking at charts and stuff, today I went to go get a massage. But aside from that, I don't do anything. My girlfriend brings me probably like lunch and late night dinner, and I don't. If not, I'll just like go walk over to the nearest little restaurant around the corner, get takeout, and then come back and continue streaming and work. But I'm a workaholic right now.
So, you mentioned you've done a lot of traveling. Where's the coolest place you've actually been to?
Waterfall in Ba. But it was a sick ass waterfall that it's like a little like hike all the way down. I didn't get to go to the volcanoes. I should have went. Like my buddies told me that was really fucking cool. But there was like this little hike down this like weird staircase trail down, and you have to like go through like these rocks and like, this little like river thing going down or whatever, and then like once you get to the very end, it's like a little cave where you can see up, and it's just like the grass and shit like hanging around the edges of like the little cave that you're at, and there's just like this big waterfall. The coolest thing about it is not the first waterfall I've seen, but the coolest thing about it is that it's the first waterfall that you can actually go into it and like have the water splash you. And the shit's really freaking heavy when it hits you. A lot heavier than I thought, a lot harder than I thought, but that was definitely really, really cool. Being able to actually go into a waterfall was legit.
Yeah, definitely. So what are a couple of things you maybe enjoy outside of crypto?
I don't know. I would say gym, but I've been I haven't been in the mood lately. I've tried to force myself to go up that mood. It's hard to say. I don't I used to drink a lot and go party a lot, soy sticks, walking the street, all that stuff, but I've kind of grown tired of that. I've been living in Pattaya for like 6 months now. And first time in my life I can say that I'm fucking tired of fucking. It's way too much of a party lifestyle out here, man. Like, I thought I was a party animal, but no, it's way too much out here. So I'm actually moving to like Vietnam just to live in a more quiet, like conservative place to get the fuck out of here and like, get my head on straight. But right now I'm just focusing on work, man. I don't really have anything else more entertaining than that right now.
All right, so switching back over to crypto, kind of touch on your personal trading strategy and really what you look for in a trade.
So I trade patterns for the most part. I'm definitely a pattern. So if you guys patterns are, I would recommend looking into it because I think they're extremely good for trading. Extremely helpful. So usually I look for patterns. I have a bunch of different indicators. I got the Bollinger Band, I got Ichimoku Cloud, I got, I use trend lines, fib levels, stock RSI, volume. I see all these things and I put it all together, but usually I look for the pattern first, and then from the pattern I see if like there's other indicators within that pattern that help confirm that it's a breakout. So like right now what I'm looking at is like Genesis Vision. And then I drew out a little diamond reversal, which is like another pattern. It broke out of that and it's going upwards. And you can see actually that there's a air bubble, which is like an empty space going upwards into the Ichimoku Cloud. So if I saw that air bubble before I even drew out the diamond, I could see that there's going to be a bump upwards at some point in that area. So then I would look at the price action, which is the candles, and then I would draw out the trends to see if there's any sort of pattern that's going on. And then I would also look at things like, stock RSI, see if it's overbought and oversold. If I'm looking for a reversal and it's overbought, if the trend is going down, right, the price is going down, but the stock RSI is all the way up, and I'm looking for a reversal where the price is going to go up, then it's definitely more than likely not going to be around that time because, one of the indicators is showing it's overbought. So you would look to see where in the future would it be that the indicator comes down, and if it becomes oversold, that it would actually go upwards. But if the indicator is, all the way at the bottom, the pattern fits, it's at the bottom of the Bollinger Band, et cetera, then sort of everything fits into, oh, sorry, someone just followed me. Everything fits into play for me to see, like, if it's a safe bet to either go long or enter position. And then from there, I could choose where my target would be, or if it goes above my entry, or above if it goes above my entry and I'm in profits, then I could just place a stop all the way up, like under the supports, and then just sort of ride the stop up and let the bulls run as high as they can.
Okay. So how did you learn margin trading specifically, and then how do you currently utilize it in your strategy?
Margin trading, I learned mostly through trial and error.
Okay.
I learned regular trading. When I first learned margin trading, I think one of the worst things that happened was that I started winning a lot. Winning like 10, 20 BTC a day or something like that. And I definitely, I had plenty of Bitcoin to play with, but I just got too comfortable with going heavy on a lot of things. So since I would like to say, since a lot of my trades are usually a lot more right than they are wrong, it didn't really bother me that much to go so heavy. But especially since it was just a portion of my stack, it wasn't like I was going all in on margin trading. But when things like the what I call black swan events, which is like events that no one can really predict. When the market went up from 5,000 to 20,000, not that many people could predict that huge parabolic rally.
Yeah.
I know for a fact I wasn't the only person to lose a lot of money on that rally. There are few margin traders. I've already been told by multiple people that they've lost a lot of money too from shorting the market, which is what I was doing, which is what made me lose a lot of the money. So basically, like, it wasn't following TA. The price was not following TA. So when the price came down, or the price was going up parabolic like crazy, and I was shorting it, and it didn't follow the TA, I got a little bit too overconfident, and I just YOLO'd it. It's basically like, oh, it's gonna come down for sure, and it just never went down. It just kept taking away until I just said, fuck it, it's gonna come down for sure. There's no fucking way that it can continue going higher. It still continued going higher, and then it liquidated. So that right there was a huge lesson. And now my current margin strategies for my challenge is basically to not allow myself to go heavier than 10% of my stack. So yeah, basically just building it up slowly, little by little, instead of YOLOing and getting rich fast.
So what would be a couple of the biggest tips you would give someone who's new to margin trading and wants to dive into it?
Biggest tip I could give you is do not start margin trading. I'm just joking. Margin trading, it's a love-hate thing with margin trading. You can definitely make a lot of money, but most people, I would say, lose their money. For margin trading, you can turn that $100, which anybody can. If you're trading, anybody can give up $100. But if you can turn that $100 into $10,000, you are ready to start margin trading. But not only that, if you turn that $100 into $10,000, then you can turn that $10,000 into $1 million. There's no excuse, I would say, in the space of crypto that somebody cannot turn $1 million or $100 into $1 million. I think that is possible. Will it take some time? Yeah, I think it'll definitely take over a year. But small compound gains over time, especially if you have your strategy and everything locked on right, I think it's definitely a possibility.
Okay. So do you invest in coins, for future gains, or are you simply just trading more short term right now?
I'm a day trader.
Okay.
I think we're in a bubble. Everything, altcoins, Bitcoin, I think everything's in a bubble. A big hype right now, and eventually some sort of regulations are going to come in, or something's going to come in that's going to bring it all down. I mean, I think even right now we're gonna go up to 11,000 to 13,000, and then go back to bear market and just bleed out slowly until we get back to like the 6,000 range. And a lot of people are thinking that, but because I don't want to sit there and like, like there's just so much news coming out that you don't really know. You can't really predict where the hell this market and all these things are going to be at in like 5 years or something like that. I would rather just sit there and actually track it every single day, so I know when to get in, when to get out, and just day trading. I don't really invest. I'm not an investor.
Okay.
Or swing trading.
So, do you trade Bitcoin more, or do you trade a lot more alts?
What got me big was altcoins. But then I started doing margin trading, and I just stuck to Bitcoin for a long time. But now that the altcoin spring is in, as we'll say, I've gotten back into doing altcoins as well. I never trade altcoins unless in a big cycle, basically, market cycles. I only trade altcoins during bullish market cycles.
Okay.
So right now we're in one of them. So I started getting back into altcoins, and I'm actually doing the rags to riches challenges on altcoins as well. One Bitcoin, so 100 Bitcoins, and I'm trying to see which one I can make 100 Bitcoins or one into 100 quicker, altcoins or margin trading. Right now margin trading is winning, but it also takes a lot more time and it's a lot more stressful than altcoins.
So when you're trading alts, what is your strategy on actually taking profits?
I usually already have. So with Bitcoin, I do a lot more like stop losses than actual like take profit targets. But with altcoins, because altcoins, there's so many freaking altcoins that you can get into. I usually I don't even use stop losses. If it goes under my trade, I just hold bags and I'm diversified into like a bunch of different other altcoins. And I'll just focus on those until the one that is in losses sort of comes back out of the water. But my strategy with altcoins, to take profits, I take profits at the next trend line or the next resistance. And if there is no resistance, if it's at an all-time high, then the next Fibonacci, or if there's a rising wedge pattern or something like that, that's usually when I'll start taking profits. But that's what I do with altcoins. And continues past that, I don't even worry about it. I just take those profits and I just look for the next coin that is in a good setup to buy in low, and then I just set my position low there, and then I just wait for that one to take off. Altcoins is very stress-free in that sort of nature.
Okay. So what are a couple resources you would recommend to someone who is getting into trading and really wants to dive into it?
Sorry, I think that was my my internet crapping out there. What was that you kind of wanted to?
Oh, yeah. So what are a couple resources you would recommend to someone who wants to get into trading?
So what are a couple of resources?
Yeah.
I think Discord's bad right now.
Yeah, it's struggling.
Yeah, the internet out here is not the greatest. So I think we're hold on. Let's see if I can find the question, because you sent me these questions before, but I didn't really look at them, to be honest. Sorry, I'm not very good at preparing.
It's all good. You're doing good so far, so.
I just saw like all the text, and I was like, I got better stuff to do. Answer what you said when you asked me. Just all right. Let me know the number that you asked.
27. There we go.
Alright, there you go. I can hear you. And voice connected.
Good? Okay.
Resources for new traders.
Yeah.
Alright, yeah, so the resources, I learned everything. The majority of all the information that I ever learned was from Investopedia.com and StockCharts.com. Those are probably two of the best sites that you can go to for information. Investopedia is fucking everything. If you can't find anything on Investopedia, then it most likely just doesn't exist. StockCharts is really good for a more visual friendly way of learning things, since Investigate is very like text driven and very cut and dry. But those are two really, really good resources as well. Oh, personal shill, no shame. Our group is opening up to a more free, to become a free platform, and I myself have created like I think 10 plus hours of videos and stuff that will now be free to public.
Okay.
And I'm gonna post them up on YouTube as well and everything. But that goes into like the knowledge that I've learned, my methodologies, trend lines, et cetera, et cetera. I have a Medium article up on Medium, but old art gained a lot of popularity with learning the basics of trading cryptocurrency. There's a bunch of freaking resources out there, and with the new group, we're trying to sort of become a Wikipedia of sorts of resources that all these traders give out for free, and just put it all under one platform. It's really, I mean, like if you go on crypto Twitter, there's crypto Rand and Bully, and I mean I don't know, I don't really know who has all the free content, but there's a lot of people out there that have free educational content. We have to actually go out and look for them and hunt them down, and then like look for their free content, like whether it's their Medium or their YouTube, whatever the case may be, to see what they have. There's not like a specific spot that shows everyone's content, and that's what I would like to sort of piece together is become that center point to get everything located into one central hub. I think that would help out the community a lot, especially the new people coming in.
Okay.
Look forward for that in the future.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so you've had your ups, you've had your downs. What has been your favorite moment in your crypto journey so far?
The first time I became a millionaire.
That's all for the interview. I really hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed talking to the Wolf. He was such an awesome dude, and I really appreciate him taking some time out of his day to do the interview. As always, thank you so much for listening. I really do appreciate everyone who has been showing love and support to the podcast. Please remember to leave a review if you're listening on iTunes, and make sure to share this episode out via social media. That's all for the episode, and I'll catch you next week.